Steve Rossi talking. Um, I noticed this in New York many years ago, and I stand by it that you can always tell how long a person's been smoking by how often they ash their cigarette. Like a teenager, he'll be ashing it every 2 seconds. Ash, ash, ash. He wants you to see that fire. He wants you to notice that he's holding a cigarette, and plus, he wants it to get over with as fast as possible. Just get all the nicotine out, so because he doesn't want to be doing it in the first place. And then, like, you'll see an old Chinese man, taking out the garbage on the midnight in Manhattan, and he's smoking a cigarette, the same one for 2 hours. He just has a line of ash. He's never ashed it, and he's just smoking the ash still. Somehow there's an ember in there somehow, and at the end of his shift, he'll, you know, put it out in a wax bowl and say a blessing. But now with these electronic, with the Jewel especially, it's so because it looks like a little black rectangle. It's like a hard drive. Some of the electronic cigarettes you can see how they look like a cigarette, but this Jewel is ridiculous. And like I for a couple years was prone to have a cigarette or two packs a day, and never. But I would have cigarettes, and once in a while I'd see my uncles at Christmas and have a smoke with one of them, like a cop or my veteran uncle, like kind of just a sneaky cigarette. But I haven't had a cigarette in a year almost, and it sounds like an accomplishment because I'm not really a smoker. I just took it up upon this bad OCD time in my life, which is compared to when I should delineate. I can't even say the word. Obviously, it's late. I don't think I've eaten a meal today. I should eat a breakfast, but it's kind of time for dessert, so. Like a Funyuns. I tweeted Funyuns today. You know that snack, Funyuns? Like they're potato chips? They're like a crispy snack that tastes like onions. They're Funyuns. What a ridiculous concept. What a great concept, actually. Who wouldn't love the taste of a casual onion treat? They should make a cereal. So on Christmas this year, I had this Jewel out there with my uncle, cop, retired, like 50 years. The other one's like from Vietnam. My uncle's telling me, this war veteran, he's telling me these stories. You have back in Da Nang, man, when Charlie had us, and he's kind of like shaking, holding a cigarette, sucking on it. What am I just supposed to pull out this little black rectangle? And he smells nothing. Do I smell cucumber mint? No, no. Are you the uncle that got the penis out of my zipper? No, I was in Da Nang. That's your other uncle. I think you got your brother's penis out of his zipper, though. It wasn't you, was it? That's odd that you know that, uncle, because you live far away, but maybe you're right. He did get my brother's penis out of his zipper, and not mine. But I think he got both of ours when we were kids, obviously. In fact, I think it was just my scrotum. Boy, was it painful. Either that happened and my uncle got it out, or that happened another time in life, and I did it. It's an odd I can't make that distinction. I have a lot of dreams about this uncle, too. Who gives a shit? Is there a genie? People say, Steve, do you believe in aliens? Yeah, as much as I believe in genies. I mean, until I see something or have been indoctrinated with it since I was born, I probably won't totally believe it. I think it's about time to have that breakfast dessert. And, Colin Quinn today tweeted about, he said someone tweeted to him about how they waved to him many years ago and he was nice and said hi back. And he wrote, yeah, I've always been a great guy. And I saw him at Westerly Market, a place I frequented on 53rd Street once, many years ago, and I didn't disturb his privacy, and I always regretted it because he just seems like one of those guys. That would have been cool. Like I met a couple cool people, and it's not like you always just want to meet a cool person, but Colin's one of the people that are very, very high up on the list of my. Wow, am I tired? Because I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm thinking it so fast. Maybe I need that Stephen Hawking thing where I can just look at letters on a thing. Maybe I should upgrade from an iPad 2, from a shattered iPad 2, into the Stephen Hawking eye movement typewriter. I have this wireless keyboard, but boy, does it suck. It's like a seesaw on your lap. I think I need that Stephen Hawking where doesn't he write with the eyes and the space bar with his eyes? He probably has a lot of sarcastic emojis while he's writing. Can you believe this shit? With my eyes? And then he puts the smiley with the sunglasses on. With these on, I couldn't even write this fucking shit. Hypothesis is always square 4. He could kind of say that, and like those should have been his last dying words, just something like that. Hypothesis is always square four of some remainder none, and people would have just been like, "Oh my God," or maybe they would have just thought it was crazy talk. Maybe I'll say that before I die, and then they'll definitely think it's crazy talk because I don't have a bunch of theories. Well, I do have theories actually. What does he have? Scientific laws? What does Stephen Hawking have that I don't have outside of the degrees on the wall? I could have sat in all the classes he did and not paid for them and got the same education, and no one would have taken me seriously. So why get the education? It's like what Mike Tyson said. I could talk to you like a gentleman, but you already look at me like an animal. So you're gonna, what's the difference? I could sit here and say yes, ma'am, and you're just gonna think I'm putting you on. You already think I'm an animal. So you already think I'm a dummy. But I could tell you I went to Harvard for way longer than anyone, and never paid for a class. I went to state. I don't think I paid for one of my classes. I know I definitely went into the wrong class one day and got like a lesson in astronomy. I still have nightmares about it because it wasn't astronomy at all. It was like mathematics of astronomy. How do you get the rocket ship to survive mathematically? That kind of thing. Not just like how do you live in a rocket ship. When I take astronomy, I want to know how I'm going to live in a rocket ship. I just can't figure it out. There's a lot of questions I have about how people live in a rocket ship like a long time in space, and I don't want a bunch of information on it. I want the cliff notes. I think I could survive that rocket ship test they do where they put you in the wheel or whatever. They put you in that chair and it makes you go in a 360 at all those different speeds. I'm good like that. I like the scrambler at the carnivals. I was a carny growing up. If you haven't listened to my podcast, and if you haven't, then I'm sure you're not going to start now because that sounds like I'm Ben Stein, fucking Ben Steiner doing this podcast. But that was all. I rode the scrambler a lot. I don't like the roller coasters that or the rides that just have huge drops, like the log ride. Fucking hated that log ride. Not only does it have this huge drop where a lot of people feel the G's in their stomach. I've always said this, so I don't think I'm making it up to be funny. I can ask my ex girlfriend, who probably won't contact you back, or my dead friend Ruben, and probably Kyle. You could probably contact Kyle. But you know how people feel the G's when they go on a roller coaster? Most people feel them in their stomach or something. I swear I'm not trying to be funny or anything other than honest. I've thought this as a kid. I feel the G, but I didn't even know the word as a kid, but I feel the G's in my taint. I as a kid, I was on the log ride and I thought my taint was going to rip itself open. I don't feel them in my stomach. I feel them between my balls and my asshole. I feel the G's in my taint. So when I go on the Magnum or the Millennium Force, people don't understand. Like, I'm not afraid of the ride. I'll go on a ride that goes loop to loop, but I'm not going to go on something that's a taint ripping thriller or something like that. I don't care enough to judge it. It's not enjoyable. Maybe if I was having an orgasm at the time, it might be the most enjoyable thing in the world. Or I would just that's probably how you could become a woman without wanting to. If you're a man having an orgasm while going down the Millennium Force, your penis would just pop off. You wouldn't have to get the surgery. Well, I don't know. I don't know, Mr. Rossi. He went up the roller coaster, Steve. He came down, Stephanie. That, that's no explanation, boys. I need a better explanation why my son went to Cedar Point a man and came back home a dickless woman. You see, Mr. Rossi, Steve's a weirdo without explanations for many things. Well, I'm not going to find that out for many years because we're talking Cedar Point days of high school. I'm not going to find that out till people call Steve a leader and everyone believes in him. And then one day he goes into the bathroom at 28 and no one follows him. He doesn't lead anybody in there. He just goes in himself and he never comes out. And now he's 34. Hey man, we're every age we ever were. We're like trees growing rings. I'm 5 years old, I'm 19 years old, I'm 30 years old. I'm every age I ever was. More than happy. I'm an old-fashioned one. But I bet you say that to somebody sometimes, don't you? Oh, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. How can you be more than happy? To me, this sounds like a dangerous mental condition. We had to put Dave in the mental home. He was more than happy.